Good look at Lake Lloyd and infield there. Didn't receive any fill here this afternoon, but there's been plenty of lightning in the area, and that's caused a stoppage of play during the first round of qualifying for the Xfinity Series. Second round about to begin. You see the 14 car there of Benny Gordon. He'll be the first to go out. 12 will race for the pole here at Daytona. And there will be, let's see, I'm just looking down the road there, 2 RCR cars with an opportunity to make it an all Richard Childress Racing front row. We talked earlier about how they do a little work on that. They'd be proud of that.
Well, that's something that's been instilled at Richard Childress Racing for a long time, that how important these tracks are, and doesn't matter if it's the Xfinity Series. We talked about it. It's Daytona. It doesn't matter which series it is. Richard Childress understands the importance of that.
And you see they are lined up in reverse order from their fastest speeds in round 1. So Reagan at the bottom will go last. He was quickest. Benny Gordon was 12th quick out of the 12. He'll be the first to roll off. His Toyota engine fires, and he leaves pit road. Same game plan, 1 time lap. And as he exits and onto the banking in turn 1, he will have a warm-up lap, or most of one, as Kyle's pointed out a couple of times today. He'll take the high road and then drop down toward that yellow line to take the quick way around Daytona.
You can hear him wind that thing out in second gear. He's going to shift for a minute, wind it out in second, then third, pull it back into fourth, and then just let this thing just try to hold it straight. Try to keep it going in a straight line, and not let it move around too much. Wind kind of finds his place. Now he's up next to the wall here, like we said before, and then he'll come down to the yellow line.
Yeah, there's just not much you can do as a driver in here. I mean, once you get in high gear, then it's to the floor with the pedal. You keep your left foot away from the brake. You don't want to be touching that. The one thing that I found over the years that you find this out when we used to come here all the time and test guys, but you want to hold the steering wheel as straight as you possibly could. So I always lock my elbows into my rib protectors on the seat stack. Now I know the seats are different now, so you basically would be locking it into your ribs to where you're not moving the wheel any more than you have to. You obviously don't want the car wandering around, but if it's driving properly, it's not going to do that. So that kept me from any extra movement of the wheel to scrub off any speed that a Mike could do if I wasn't doing that.
And that was the word I was looking for. Scrubbing off speed is something you just can't afford here.
No, not at all. And especially, you make that cut to get in the corner here. You don't want to put any more wheel in it than you have to. If you have to turn left again or do anything to scrub that speed. And that's why we see these guys, they'll go in and they may let it drift up a little bit as you see him come off the corner there, away from the yellow line, but then he pulls it back down to the yellow line.
This will be nice for Benny, regardless of where he ends up in the final 12. It'll be his best career qualifying effort here at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, and 2 of his 3 Xfinity Series best starts, or best finishes, have been here at Daytona. So that portends to good things for Gordon. Good things coming for this young driver. Ty Dillon, grandson of Richard, one of 2 who will be making the final round attempts here. Older brother Austin yet to come in the 2 car. And Ty, of course, is on the pole, has been on the pole before, looking for a win following the 2014 Indy victory, which was so special to him.
Yeah, that was a huge victory at the Indianapolis.
This is actually about the point down the back straightaway that your car is finally up to pretty much its full speed. It takes that much time of getting everything wound up. When you finish that get up to go lap, your car is still not up to its full potential. So as you run through 1 and 2 and go down the back straightaway, then that's when you kind of hit that spot.
As we're talking about speeds, upwards of 180 miles per hour average, but in the draft yesterday, 193 was the top speed. So nearly 200 miles per hour tonight, the daring speed at which these drivers will take to 250 miles here at Daytona. Fastest for Dillon, he exceeds Gordon. So Benny will drop back to second. Elliott Sadler on track in the 1 car.
Yeah, and here's what I'm looking forward to, just because of his comments that we saw as we came back, where he talked about the wind changing and how he thought maybe it would help his car a little bit. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, both of these first 2 cars have slowed down about 3.5 tenths from what they ran in that first round. So I don't know if that's weather affected wind. We heard Elliott talking about that.
Elliott's in the green now. This is for the pole, the prestigious pole at Daytona.
And like Dale said, that's about where you get up to your top speed. He's continued all the way down the backstretch by following that tracker there to just gain just a little bit.
14 races, he's got a win and 5 top 5s. That is more than all of last year for Elliott. So a big boost to his personal program going over to junior motorsports, and that will be the quick time so far. A few ticks quicker than Ty Dillon. And Elliott immediately shutting the motor off.
He ran almost identical time. I mean, it's 2/1000ths of a second differential when he ran.
So the win was in his favor.
Now,
if there was any.
Well, this is going to be interesting, and Dale brought it up. Dale brought it up earlier. We had that hour and 10-minute delay after these guys qualified. Did their wheel bearing grease? Did their transmissions? Did their rear ends cool down enough? And these guys that went later in that session, as you said, and were able to keep some heat in the components, maybe not in the engine because you knocked the heat out of that, but in the components, will they pick up front in this practice or in this qualifying from what they did in the first one? That was a great point.
Talked to Corey LaJoie just a little bit earlier. Praised the team for giving him the car to do this, and yet he's the guy behind the wheel. And a great opportunity for him here tonight. He sounded very confident about racing up front with a fast race car at the end here tonight.
Yeah, it sounded good, ready to go. Even though he's never competed here, it's going to be quite eye-opening as he gets started.
Yeah, and let's be clear here. I mean, we talk about Ned, Jared, and Dale and his family and my family. This is the LaJoie family. I've never heard a LaJoie not sound confident. Okay? So let's be honest. He's his dad, Randy LaJoie, past champion in this series. Great race car driver, and obviously that apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
And if I'm having a guy make my racing seat, which is what Randy LaJoie does, I want him to be confident in what he does.
Baby.
Absolutely. Can Bubba Wallace put Roush Fenway Racing on the pole? The 6 car down the backstretch.
Yeah, he's got it going so far. Elliott Sadler's car we saw in turns 3 and 4 really didn't slow down. So that tells you that they've got, the car, they're not getting a lot of drag and hindering the car. The RPM's going down in the corner, so that's what makes Elliott confident in his car tonight. But you see Bubba Wallace's car doing the same thing because he's still picking up a little bit of time on Elliott Sadler here.
Going the right way, and he will put the 6 car on the provisional pole after 5 of 12 here in the final round.
Well, I'll tell you, this is going to be a man fun to watch tonight. I just really believe that he's going to be in there ready to mix it up, and if he can stay out of trouble into those last 10 laps, you can see a lot of excitement from him.
19 car of Daniel Suarez taking to the 2.5-mile high-banked Daytona International Speedway. Iconic in the sport, a favorite among drivers, and as Dale said earlier, when you say your sentences and you start it with at Daytona, you definitely want to make your mark here if you can.
And this is what Dale was talking about, Darrell Wallace, and now we're watching Daniel Suarez. This is what is so great about watching the Xfinity Series. We just interviewed these guys while they're waiting for the rainbow light. They're loose. They're having fun. They just want to be in a race car. They just want to be out there racing. And it makes the racing fun. It makes watching the racing fun because they have that same attitude inside the car. That's why it's going to be fun tonight to watch these guys.
If you ever had a chance to meet these drivers at one of their appearances, if you're in the infield or on pit lane, they're fun to be around, and they realize what a great connection they have with the race fans and happy to be a part of what they do. Lucky to drive race cars. You guys know that.
Yes.
And happy to share it with the fans.
These last 3 guys, Suarez, Wallace, and Sadler, these guys are at decent times, but they're pretty close together. So these guys are getting down to the short ones here.
Yeah, Suarez actually picked up almost 2/10 over what he ran in that first round.
And remember, Suarez went late, like we were talking earlier, like you mentioned earlier. He went late in that first round, so wasn't bearing grease, wasn't transmission, rear end grease, because it still had some heat in it.
Allgaier now in the red. Does not look like he's going to be able to get the 7 car where he wants it to. It's going the wrong way, counting up, getting further away from that pole speed of Daniel Suarez. And Dale mentioned the 2/10, even though he was quicker than Suarez in round 1.
Yeah, but it's still going to be very close here. This is going to be a good time.
Yeah. Just hovering right there. That's pretty consistent. You talked about, Dale mentioned earlier about Sadler's not really losing anything. He's not really lost anything. Allgaier hasn't.
Two drivers in Junior Motorsports going for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship. That would be Allgaier here and Elliott Sadler. A third Junior Motorsports car being driven this weekend by Chase Elliott, who did not make the top 12. That car, called an all-star car, if you will, so nice to see them in a big way in the Xfinity Series. Brennan Poole on track now in the 48.
Remember, Brendan Poole was, what, our 7th, 8th car out. So this is one of the guys who's been sitting the longest out of this group. Just waiting for the weather delay and stuff to get a chance to go back again.
So many things can change in the dynamics of this race car. The time sitting on pit road, the weather delay, and whether or not they lock their elbows in and hold that wheel straight, as Dale was demonstrating earlier. Brendan Poole in the red right now, coming off turn 4.
Good solid lap here, too.
Yeah.
So Brennan crosses the start-finish line. And carrying, telling him a good lap, 4th. The crew member Mark Singleton represented on his race car. He was a part of U.S. Marine Corps 2nd Battalion, 6. And as we mentioned, those windshield banners, the white part just below the roof line, saying thanks to all of our troops this weekend. Here's Eric Jones.
And just to Kyle's point, back to Brent Poole for just a second, even though that's a good solid lap in 4th, that was almost 2.5 tenths slower than what he ran in that first round. So I really believe there is something to that, Kyle.
One Joe Gibbs Racing car is on the provisional pole. 2 remain to try to knock off their teammate. Jones is one of them. And then, of course, David Reagan will go last in that 18 car, fastest in round 1.
Speaking of fastest,
Here it comes.
this is really fast right here for Eric Jones.
Yes, it is.
And it's not like you can really save anything from round 1, really.
No.
Nice job engineering, good circumstances, and good team effort. Right there, fastest, number 1. And by a pretty good margin, a couple tenths.
That's tough right there. David Reagan may be the only one really get into this who's got a shot at it. And I'm telling you, Austin Dillon, his lap was good. At the time, surprised me comparing that to Ty Dillon. But Joey here is, you never know what to expect out of these Penske cars and a Penske driver, and especially Joey Logano.
Well, they've been working hard on this program this year. They are not at the top of their game right now compared to the cars around them, and have been putting a lot of hours in to try to figure out how to up this program. Joey's win here came with Joe Gibbs Racing. The captain has never won here in the Xfinity Series. Joey's trying to turn that around. He's not going to be on the pole this afternoon.
It looks like it's headed in that direction. But again, you know, when they drop the green flag, these are the guys that are going to be up front, and these other guys are going to learn from these guys.
2015 Daytona 500 winner.
Wow,
His 2nd.
that's strong.
It didn't miss it by a lot.
Oh, that's strong right there. That is. Wow.
He slowed down about a tenth, where Eric Jones, in his lap, actually picked up a half a tenth
And again,
from the round 1.
Joey was the 4th car that went
Yes.
out today.
Yeah, and Eric Jones was the 30th.
Third, yes. We started 3 hours ago, it seems like.
And guys, a casual observer might notice that it's very silent after their qualifying lap. They shut down the car immediately. Dan, why is that?
Well, they've got a lot of tape on it. Knowing they're just going to be out there for the 1 lap, they've been able to put more tape, which they'll get to adjust before the race. Those are race approved adjustments they can make. So they don't want the engine to get any hotter. Saving all of that, and not to mention everything, just get it shut down and be done with it. And Austin Dillon looks like he's got a good lap.
Yes.
He's got a challenge here.
Wow.
Close down the backstretch, now in the green, coming off of the final turn, and down to the stripe. Austin Dillon looks like he's going to be quickest with 1 driver to go here at Daytona.
That's a lap. I did not expect that.
49.